I cheated on my husband. It saved my life. Story 1. I hope this is the right place to post this. I first wrote this as a comment on our Ask Women and the positive response was overwhelming. Many said that they needed to hear this. So, hang on, this is going to be a very long ride. I had an extramarital affair. Never did I think I would do something like this. Please don't judge me until you've read my story. My ex-husband was emotionally, mentally, and sometimes physically abusive and very controlling. He isn't just a narcissist. He has the full-blown mental illness and is a textbook psychopath and a sadist. He controlled all of our finances and I could not access my own money. Fuck. I never knew how much was in my bank account. That's what kept me from leaving him. I was terrified of him. He collected guns and was always armed in the house. If I came home early I was afraid he would shoot me. He and my grandmother. Yes, you read that correctly, she also raised me and is also a narcissist control freak. She punished me for leaving him, had me convinced that I could not make it and live on my own. I have several mental illnesses and he made them worse. It was severe enough that I ended up in a mental health facility for 2 weeks. My ex was an emergency room nurse and he did not believe in mental illness. I was so worn down that I started planning my suicide. I had a plan and a timeline. The only thing holding me from doing it was that I couldn't decide on if I was going to leave a note. Then I met a guy at work. He was silly, made me laugh. We had fun together. We talked for hours. My ex never spent time with me or made the time together miserable. I was so lonely, but this guy made me so happy. Then I slept with him and it was amazing. My ex was horrible in bed. I never understood that a person needs physical contact, and I was starved for it also. I did not know that interaction with people was a basic need. I was raised to believe that it was a personality defect. When I expressed this to my not grandmother, she got shy with me and said, "You've always been alone. You should be used to it by now." A note before I continue. I was severely abused, neglected and manipulated for my entire life. I could write a ducking book. Another story for another day. At that point in my life everyone had abandoned me, so I figured this guy would eventually leave me. Since I was going to kill myself I figured I had nothing to lose. When it ended I would do it. The universe moves in mysterious ways. The relationship kept improving. I was getting happier, the most happiness I had ever felt, and I was becoming mentally and emotionally stronger. I couldn't understand how something that brought me so much joy could be wrong. I told my piece of acid ex to duck out of my life. At this point, I was strong enough that even if this relationship ended I could make it on my own. Guess what? That guy, we've been together for 8 years, and we still love each other so much. One of these days we will get around to getting married. To those of you who have stayed with me, thank you. I have done a lot of research into narcissistic abuse and emotional abuse. I have a ton of stories, some of them are even funny. If anyone is interested I will happily write and answer questions. Edit. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful comments. I tried to respond to everyone but I'm sure I missed a few people. It makes me happy to know that there are so many others in my situation. I can't say this enough. It's not your fault. You deserve to be loved. You are enough. TL. Doctor, an affair saved my life from committing suicide. My ex-husband was extremely abusive. The guy I met helped me see I deserved better. No longer in abusive relationship. Still with the other man 8 years later. Story 2. I 20f messed up, and now my husband 25 meters thinks I cheated on him on my first day at work. Just some background. Me and husband have been married for 2 years. We live in the US. We've had trust issues in the past because I had trouble being honest with him about my past. And rather than telling him I wasn't ready to talk about it, I just slowly came out with more and more and lied about more and more. I did some R-rated role playing when we just started dating, as I was young and dumb and didn't think anything of it awful, I know, and eventually told him. This broke the last bit of trust he had in me for a long time. Fast forward 2 years and there have been little to no issues. Things have been great. Up until today. I start training at a new job today. And I started talking to this guy 32 meters. And he was really nice. I'm not interested in him in any way. But I ended up talking to this guy and realized he was maybe interested in me. So I tell him that I'm married. He acts all shocked saying how young I look. But that's people's typical reaction, so I don't think much of that. I keep talking to him because I figure the dude knows I'm married, so has gotta know I'm not interested. Stupid me, because apparently people don't care. But then later Hez sitting a little close, so I bring up the husband again, trying to put the whole I'm married thing as far out there as I can, so he'd get it after that. On my lunch, I talked to him for a bit in front of the building, and he tells me that has been through 2 7-year relationships, and that he wasn't looking for relationships anymore, but that he was just looking for friends, which I guess he meant those kinds of friends, but I didn't pick up on that. I know that's really dumb, but I didn't get it. I even said to him about how my brother's the same way, and that hopefully they'll both find someone eventually. So I get home, and I start telling my husband all of this, and he's furious. He picks up on everything this guy was trying that I didn't get, and he says that I knew, and that I'm not stupid enough to have not caught on. He says I probably cheated on him with the guy. I didn't. I want to make that clear. Here's where I messed up. But then when it gets to talking about lunchtime, I get freaked out about telling him that I hung out with this dude for a bit of my lunch, and I just say I walked around for most of my lunch. And then he questions me more, and then I tell him how I also talked to the guy for a bit. He's angrier. He says I lied and I cheated. I apologized for not telling the whole truth, and tell him that I was just freaked out because how angry he is. He just says I'm a liar and a cheater. I don't know what to do. I don't want to get divorced. I love him, and I don't want this to be the end of our relationship, when I honestly didn't cheat on him. I just made a mistake of talking to a dude who was hitting on me. I need help on what to do. If any of this is incoherent, just let me know, and I can fix it. Or if you want to ask something, go ahead, and I'll try to answer. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1. Oh, you didn't do anything though. Redditor 2. First of all, why would you lie when you have nothing to lie about? Your husband sounds like a dick. Redditor 3. Your husband has controlling and jealousy issues. Talking to guy, even if guy is trying to pick you up, isn't cheating on any rational level. Tell your husband to calm down. Redditor 4. Does this kind of thing happen often with him? Redditor 5. This almost sounds like my husband and I, but in reverse. He lies to me about small things that don't matter, so why risk the lie? I always wonder. And big things, the lie seems to be big enough to be worth it. And over the years I've come to be highly suspicious of him, and rather than give him the benefit of the doubt, I've learned that it is safer for me to assume he is lying, and then if there are no suspicious sounding parts of his stories, only then to think that maybe he is telling me the truth. It is heartbreaking to see how little trust we have in our relationship, and I hate that I've become some sort of crazy suspicious maniac, but his behavior has encouraged mine. Until we started going to couples therapy, I assumed he was lying to hide things from me that he was ashamed of. It turns out there are many reasons to lie, including I think the truth is gonna start a fight, and I don't have energy for that right now. We've been working on building trust. We've been working on him understanding how much it hurts me to be lied to. My family didn't do white lies growing up. A lie is a lie. So being lied to by someone that says they love you more than anything else in the world is devastating. The first dozen times, then you start to blame yourself. What am I doing to make him want to lie to me? What can I do to get him to share his full self with me? Why am I not worth it to him? Not good enough for him to share his truths and his secrets with, as I do with him. He's slowly understanding what self-defense mechanisms his mother's borderline personality disorder instilled in him. A big part of that is lying when you are nervous about the other person's reaction. I don't agree with it, but I understand that. Maybe you and your husband need to understand why you think it is okay to lie to him. I have also been working to be more patient and not blow up at him when I catch him lying to me, which he still does, even though he keeps telling me it will be the last time. He is trying to get in the habit of saying, I do that want to tell you the truth, because I'm nervous that you will react by thinking doing sayings is so. Please try to understand that I'm being honest when I don't want to be, and I try to respect that honesty by not doing the thing he is nervous about, to show him that sharing his life experiences with me won't come with judgment, sadness, or suspicion of further lies. Though, to be honest, I'm just getting better at outwardly hiding those emotions. It is still hard to trust what he says, but we're working on that. Maybe some of those ideas would help you? Maybe individual therapy sessions to work on why you feel the need to lie would help you. Maybe couples therapy to figure out how to rebuild the lost trust would help you. If you need to talk or to try to understand the perspective of the other side of the lying game is, in your case, please let me know. I can try to tell you what bothers me and how it makes me feel when I'm lied to in more detail. Best of luck with whatever outcome you both decide is best for you. Redditor 6. You married way too young. Your husband has controlling and jealousy issues. You can't really fix this because it's on your husband to change, and his type typically don't. All I can advise you is to not get pregnant, because I suspect by the time you're 25 you'll have woken up to what a horrible mistake this was and be ready to exit and start over.